Apples. Sometimes considered a symbol of life, sometimes one of love, and sometimes considered a forbidden fruit. But if I had known what was about to transpire, I'd say it's way worse than that. All the Mods 8 has a mod called Spice of Life Carrot Edition. This mod increases your health for every 5 pieces of food you eat by 2 hearts up to 10 hearts. Since I'm playing in hardcore mode and absolutely do not want to die, I really wanted to discover new food items to eat. After some consideration, I decided that apples were a good food item to farm. First off, apples can easily be farmed using Croptopia's fruit saplings, but they're also an ingredient for many useful items. Of course, golden apples are great, but I also discovered relic apples, which are a material needed to craft heart canisters to increase health even further. At that moment, I decided that I was going to become an apple farmer. What could possibly go wrong? The first step to getting apples was to get apples. Yeah, great script writing there, Sol. Using 2 apples and any type of sapling, I could make a Croptopia apple sapling, which I could then use to farm apples. So naturally, as I went out to cut down oak trees for apples, I got distracted by a structure and spent a good 7 minutes looting it and emptying my inventory at home. But after that, I got to chopping, and once I had a few apples, I headed back home. I could have just planted an apple tree close to home and called it a day, but botany pots would allow me to automatically farm apples, which sounded a lot more fun than sitting next to the tree all day waiting for the apples to grow. To craft these, I needed clay, so I went into the ocean to get a bunch of it. Next up, I wanted rich soil. This is a dirt-like material that boosted the growth of crops inside botany pots by 10%. Rich soil is made by leaving organic compost to... Compost? What the f is this? Was I high writing this? Anyway, organic compost is crafted using dirt, bark, straws, and bone meal. However, looking through my chests, something became clear. I didn't have any bones. Without bones, I obviously couldn't make bone meal, so I found a solution. I used the flax I had previously farmed to make string and crafted a fishing rod. After that, I went fishing. Trust me, I'm going somewhere with this. I had to fish a few times so that I could get enough cod, but when I did, I placed them on the cutting board and sliced them up. Just like that, I had bone meal. However, it was a very underwhelming amount of bone meal, and I wasn't able to craft 2 organic compost blocks like I'd hoped. Thankfully, it was nighttime, so I decided to step out and kill some skeletons. Oh, I almost fell down that hole. Oh. Well, right here. Yep, there it is. There we go. Oh, there's just a random loot chest here. Oh, hey, look at that, bones. I want to keep this as well, ideally. I can craft this into bone meal. No, actually, no, let's not do that. At that point, I just gave up and used regular dirt. I then decided to work towards getting a fruit cake, which was the hardest regular food item to craft with apples. The thing about fruit cakes is that they require many ingredients: salt, an apple, a lemon, sugar, pecans, an egg, cinnamon, and a nutmeg. Some of these were easy to get. When I went out into the ocean for clay, I found salt that I decided to dig up. I had found a lemon tree earlier when I was looking for apples, so I had that figured out already. Last episode, I had built a sugarcane farm next to my house, so sugar was easy to get, and of course, apples. However, I didn't have the rest of the ingredients. The egg was the easiest of the bunch. I just needed to find a chicken and bring it back home. And while I was out looking for chicken, I actually made 2 new friends. Hello. Yo! I don't know what you do, but we're friends now. Are you gonna follow me? You are! Hello! I don't know what they do, but that's awesome. Wait, we can maybe get a Shiba Inu. Yes! Oh, look at him! I also ended up finding one of the fruits I needed, which, thank goodness, that saved me a lot of trouble. I finally managed to bring a chicken back home after looking for a good while. However, the egg was the easiest item to find. Cinnamon and nutmegs were going to be much harder to get. I would have to find their trees in the world, which would take a lot of exploring. Or would it? Maybe there's another way to get the sapling. Oh, you can get them on the market. Right. My strategy had changed. Instead of exploring the world, I decided to get the saplings I needed using the farmer's market block. This did mean that I would have to imprison the villager running that market, but what's wrong with that? People do that all the time. However, I needed another item to get the saplings from the market. Emeralds. Of course, the best way to get emeralds is through trading with villagers, and I was lucky enough that I had a village so close to home. But when I went there, the village was extremely quiet. Too quiet. For some reason, the villagers were hiding in holes. I decided to make it easier for them to get out to gain their trust. In case zombies would come and hurt them, I decided to barricade 2 of them inside the church for safekeeping. And then, I had a genius idea. Sure, I could leave this village and let the villagers do their thing, but if I could bring the villagers home and make a villager breeder, I could make it so much easier to get emeralds later. I started building the villager breeder at the back of the base, but as I was doing that, this stupid wandering trader got in my way, so I killed him with no mercy. I used the cloth from his rugs to craft a carpet that would force him to spawn in a small, cramped room, much like the weathered salesperson before him. And when I was done, I went to go get the villagers from the village. They refused to cooperate, so I tied them onto the boat and destroyed their village pathways to make it easier for me to row them home. And as it turns out, I didn't even need to free the villagers in the church. There were 2 other villagers in the village, so I left them in there with no food, no water, no remorse, nothing. I then force-fed one of the villagers in the breeder, Radish, against his will, stole his emeralds, and I finally traded them in for the trees. And then, I was finally able to craft the fruitcake. And as I ate it, the realization of what I had done hit me. I didn't just eat the fruitcake, I had become the fruitcake. Not only had I cut down huge portions of the forest, I destroyed the land of the natives, and I imprisoned, and I murdered and stole from and enslaved them. And for what? Riches? Extra health? No, that wasn't it. I did it for the apples. It's not enough. I needed more apples. If I couldn't get more apples, then I wouldn't be able to craft golden apples and relic apples like I wanted to. But botany pots weren't cutting it. I needed more. I would do anything for more apples. So, I turned to the dark arts.